I'm Watt Key, and I'm from Mobile, Alabama. Grew up in Point Clear, and a lot of people know me from my book, Alabama Moon. And I'm here to talk about To Kill a Mockingbird. And the first thing I'll say is this is my copy that's obviously very old, and the first time I think I've ever seen it was when I went to look for a copy to read for this interview, and I found this on my bookshelf. I think it might be a first edition, but I don't know where it came from. And I looked in it, and it has the name of my high school English teacher in it. So I'm not sure if I lifted this or not, but somehow it's been in my house for years and years, or a ghost put it there in preparation for this interview, but it's got all of her notes in it, which helped me a lot for this, since I haven't read it since she made me read it when I was 14 years old. But I will say that To Kill a Mockingbird, I enjoyed the book when I was a kid. I don't remember it as being one of my favorite books, and I actually liked it a lot more reading it as an adult. And I think one of the things that struck me about it the most was I've never considered myself to be much of a book critic, and I'm not always the best when it comes to describing the themes and the meanings of books. To me, they either have the it factor or they don't. And To Kill a Mockingbird certainly did have it to me, and I can see why it was such a popular book. And now that I'm a writer, I recognize a lot more of the things in books that make them successful. And I think mainly what I noticed the most about this particular book is the author really seems to know Scout and knows that character in such a way that you almost wonder how much Harper Lee was like Scout, because she knows her so well that she makes you think just like Scout's thinking. She knows what she's going to do, and there's that flow that you find in a book to where you feel like you're there. And I felt that in this novel. So that's one of the things that I notice quickly when I read a book. My favorite part of the book is Scout's dialogue. Her spunkiness, her spirit, and the things she comes up with. For instance, when she says, "Pass the damn ham," that to me just had me laughing because it was so perfect. The timing was right. It was absolutely something she would have said, and it was so shocking in a funny way. And that probably was my favorite part of the book, and not just one part, but her dialogue and her interaction with people. You have to suspend belief somewhat that you have a 6-year-old or 6 to 10-year-old narrator that has the kinds of thoughts and impressions that Scout does, because a lot of it was much too mature for someone that age. But it works. It totally works. But if you had to get really technical about it, that's probably a little too mature the way she is for a 6-year-old. But it, like I said, it works, and it really is enjoyable to read. And certainly the way she thinks about things, about how her brother Jim, she talks about now that he's an adult, and that's pretty funny about how he changes in her interpretation of that. I really got a lot out of that. That was enjoyable. Obviously, To Kill a Mockingbird is a story about a place that Miss Lee loved, and those types of books are often hard to write because people are not always as interesting as they think they are. And so when you write a book about something that's really close to you, you have to be really careful to make sure that you leave out, that you really present the big picture and leave out the pieces that, might just be interesting to you and not to everybody else. But she got the details so right of a small southern town that she really did a good job of writing about a place she loved in a way that the rest of the world could enjoy. And I thought that was a very big achievement.